Hello, my name is Shivani and this is the Curly Bookworm. So it's been a while and that's because I haven't been able to read like I told you in my last video, but I did end up beginning to read. So I want to talk to you about the last few books that I've read and they've turned out to be pretty good for the most part of it. Let's get into it. Before we begin, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing, or if you come here and don't subscribe, please subscribe and like this video, share it, turn on the bell notification, all of those good things that help me reach other people and you quickly. Okay, so in my last video I left you in a bit of a suspense about this book. This is The Cows by Dawn O'Potter. So this is a book that my friend Khushbu gave me. She and I keep exchanging books because we're both bookworms, and this is one of the books that she gave me. I picked this up when I was having that reading block, and interestingly I remember that she had told me, read this. This is not the usual recommendation. I want to know what you think about it. So this is what I think about it. Let me first tell you about the book. So it is about three women. One of them is a television producer. She basically makes documentaries, really hard-hitting, stuff like sexual abuse at the workplace or harassment in general. The other woman writes blogs and she talks about how to be like a modern woman, or how she is a modern woman. Things like, not being married, or choosing not to be in a serious relationship even in your 30s, or not having children, or not wanting children, or remaining childless, things like that. And then there's this other woman who basically used to have a twin sister, and unfortunately she passed away. And I'm not giving anything away with that. It's literally in the beginning of the book, and she's in a really, really shitty place. Supposedly this book was about the trials and tribulations of all these women and them coming together, and a surprising thing happening. But like I told you in my last video, they didn't come together for a very, very long time. However, this book was a pretty decent read until the very end, like the last 50 pages or the last 40 pages. I don't even know what the author did. It was lazy storytelling and a lazy plot. It just felt like she didn't know how to end the book and she just wrote a random ending, and yeah. So while I enjoyed the book for the most part of it, towards the end it became really shitty, and so I will now give this book a 2.53 because bad endings, man. The next book that I want to talk to you about is this one. This is a definite 5-starer. This is called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Macquarie. This is a book that a friend sent me all the way from London. We had met over the holidays, the year-end holidays last year, and he said that he'd read this book that he loved, and so him and his wife sent me this. Thanks Azhar and Ifu, because I loved it. I loved it so much. I've been sketching and painting so much recently, and just look at that. That's the style for the rest of the book, and I'm going to show you some pages. I mean, it's really, really, really beautiful. It's so gorgeous. It's so pretty. So what is this book about? It is about a boy, a mole, a fox and a horse, but it is about life. It is about, those big questions. It is about, well, I don't want to say much more. Actually, it's just a beautiful book. So if you're buying this book, and I think you should, buy it for the art. Of course, the writing is beautiful and the message in the book is beautiful as well, but it's just worth having in your collection if you do have a collection. The next book that I want to talk about is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. He is the same guy that wrote A Man Called Ove. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's that super popular book that everybody loved. I've read that book too and I like it, but I don't love it. And then I read this book, Anxious People, and I was just blown away. Just blown away. It's so freaking funny. It is hilarious. It's definitely one of those books that you will remember for a long ass time. Incidentally, I listened to this as an audiobook, and oh my god, the narrator has done the best ever narration. Like, I've never ever encountered a narrator who's done a better job in an audiobook. So from an audiobook experience, this is definitely like the best audiobook that I've ever listened to. But as a book itself, and the story and the characters, so funny, like so freaking funny. Yes, with all the hands. It is about a bank robbery gone completely south, and the people who get caught up in it, because a bank robbery actually turns into a hostage situation, not in the bank but outside of the bank, and there are like 7 people or 8 people or whatever, and they're all stuck in this situation. And yeah, I mean, the story is so poignant, it's touching, but at the same time super funny. Like, it's told in the funniest way ever. I would really implore you to read this book or listen to this book, whatever. Just please, so good. Another book that I want to talk to you about is Sweet Bean Paste. Now, this book is super short. I think it's like 180 pages or something like that. I needed something light, I needed something quick. I, to be honest, have begun to sort of really not want to read huge books. Lately, it's just not been my jam. So anyway, so this one is a super short book. It is set in Tokyo. The protagonist of this book leads a fairly bleak life. He is an aspiring writer, or was, but like right now he works in a little cafe kind of a thing that sells sweet bean paste and pancakes. And he has a really like mundane, shitty life. He just goes through life day by day. He doesn't take any days off, etc. And there's this woman, she's like in her 70s, super old and bent over and everything, and she comes up to him and she offers to make him sweet bean paste, because he uses the kind from box, and she makes like this fresh sweet bean paste, which he tastes and he's like, oh my god, this is crazy good, come work for me. Except that she looks like really tired and weak and ill, and he kind of hesitates taking her in, because like, what would that look like to customers, especially if they see her? And so he's kind of hesitating. It's a really sweet book. I think I rated it 3.5 on 5. It was just like a really sweet, nice palette changer kind of a book, and I definitely would recommend it. And the last book that I want to talk to you about is this one. This is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I hope I've got that right. If I haven't, I'm sorry. But this book was adorable. So it's a fantasy book, but not with like the fays and the werewolves and none of that stuff. It was just a cute book that almost read like a middle grade book, but it wasn't. It was an adult book with sort of like a Harry Potter feel, right? Like, it's for adults and for children kind of a thing. It's about this man who lives in a super rainy town. I'm assuming it's like London, I don't know, but like it just never stops raining in this town. He has the bleakest job ever. He works for like a ministry that basically takes care of like orphans, and by orphans I really mean little kids who have like these weird, not superpowers, but they're different. Essentially, they can like, I don't know, read people's minds, or move things around with their eyes, and like there's different kinds of things that these kids can do. And these kids are basically put in what they call orphanages to take care of them. And this man works for this ministry, and so he's sent to this very special orphanage at the back of Beyond, and there are these kids there who are slightly like off the charts. They have dangerous powers, or they're really odd or whatever, and he has to assess if they are being taken care of well by the master, the person who takes care of the orphanage. That's his job. So he goes there and he's sent there for a month. He's never seen the sea, so, and this house is like on the cliff by the sea. It's on an island, and yeah, like I want to go there. It was such a comforting read. It was like drinking your favorite drink, or I don't know, eating your favorite food. It was just super comforting. You should definitely read it. It was 4.5 on 5 for me because I felt like it was a bit predictable at times, which is totally fine. It does not matter because a comfort drink or a comfort dish or food or whatever is predictable, and that's the love of it. You have to read this book. Let me know what you think after you read it, or if you already read it, let me know what you think. That's it for me for this time. I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.